gonna pay my cousin out of my pocket. I know somebody who'll drive me around. I know he'll be sober. I know everything will be sweet.
And would have been happy because my cousin enjoying himself.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
yes.
Absolutely.
So yeah, cousin's definitely there, man. Behind it, it's
like
it's their genetics, bro.
And then also like with music too, like I'm discovering like this like love for music that I have.
Yeah.
And my pops used to play drums.
Yeah.
I personally never wanted. I used to like.
My grandma told me about that, bro.
Yeah, like
you
my pops
didn't tell me about
he was
it.
cold with it.
My grandma told me that.
And like he was, I had a little drum. I got some pictures at home. I was a little.
I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Or I could do this.
How does it feel being an original woman?
It's lit. I love being an original woman. I love just knowing that I'm rooted in all of this. Like, we created all of this from our culture, basically inspiring all of the cultures around this whole world to us birthing this whole world. So it's lit. I love it, and I'm happy.
Peace and love, family. Welcome to another edition of the Legion Lineage Podcast. We are the #1 podcast for individuals seeking to end generational dysfunction. What's going on, cuz?
Not much, because how you feeling, man?
I am feeling.
Matter of fact, not how you feeling. How has your week been? How you feeling? Something new. Give us something new. What you been on? Let us know.
I'm answering both. I'm feeling powerful. I'm feeling determined. I'm feeling all the feels. Meaning that I've like the emotional roller coaster of the day. Mm-hmm. Like I feel that every day. I'm getting out of my own way, which is extremely powerful. Yeah, I'm just in a great space right now, mentally, emotionally, growing spiritually every day, working on myself. I'm getting closer to the launch date of my book, Knowing a Stranger Within, by M1.
Yeah, sir. How's that going?
It's going well, man. Just being consistent on posting every day about it to spread the word, spread awareness, and getting into the habit of posting every day on social media too.
And I know in gathering thoughts, when you're writing this book, man, I know that made you even see a different insight of yourself.
Yeah, it's very therapeutic.
Yeah, well, what's something that you forgot, or some, give us a little quick snippet, something that you, little Sean, that you didn't forget, it didn't happen, or you didn't forget all about it, and you was enlightened by you writing this book.
Got you. First and foremost, I had to really dive into myself in terms of like figuring out different stuff that I wanted to express, because this is a book series, so I didn't want to go too far in and lose people.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to be shallow either, because it's intended to know like our eternal selves. We really get into the weeds of who we are. Yeah. So I'm finding that medium and having that flow within it as well. So that's really been my biggest thing, is finding that medium and having that flow with it as well. Because like I said, this is like how Harry Potter has different books and stuff like this, stuff like that. Like it's going to be in a similar type of format with like volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, so on and so forth, right? So that'll really like, I ain't gonna give it all away, but it's gonna be different volumes. So.
Okay.
So it's not gonna be the first and only book for sure.
Okay.
Now, also, when I was talking to my editor too, she was like just when her and I we had an intro conversation on the phone. She was like, based on how you were speaking, I can tell you're gonna have multiple books. Yeah. That's what she told me. So that was very inspirational, inspiring. That brought joy to my heart. So I was like, you were right. We gonna make this thing work.
You have a lot of books, cause you got a lot of teachers.
Really embracing this thing, man. It's like I said, it's been therapeutic. A couple things got delayed, but we're still on track though. Okay. We are still on track for a summer launch. So, yeah, I'm excited about this thing, man. It's liberating, and it's gonna change a lot of people's lives, man.
What inspired you to write the book, though? Cause what made you start saying, you know what, I'm gonna write a book?
Tapping into a conversation I had to have with myself a few months ago. Was like, yo, you gotta make a decision that you need to put investment into yourself. You're either gonna do this multi-family stuff or you're gonna do this school stuff. So I was like, okay, let me go into this education space. And I was like, all right, I need a book. So made the decision. I was like, all right, we got to write a book to get me into this education space so I can start speaking to these students. So that's literally just compiling all the observations, information, and experiences I've had over these past 6 or so years working with young people and putting it into volume 1 of Knowing the Stranger Within.
Yeah, and I know you worked with a lot of young people, cuz, and
Absolutely.
yeah. But real quick though, I like the title of that, man. Knowing the Stranger Within, because that's stranger, knowing the stranger within.
Mm-hmm.
What you mean by that? Like that right there hits me, because that's like, to me, that's like, dang, that means I'm getting to know myself about something that I didn't know that I have characteristics of. I'm getting to learn a habit that I didn't even know it was a habit.
Absolutely.
Like break that down.
I'm
That's
glad
what
you
I
asked
looked
that
at.
question.
That's how I looked at it.
I'm so happy you asked that question, because so it's like, man, it's knowing the stranger within. It's really one of those. Like, if it was posted on Amazon, it would be a self-help book, but it's more of a be yourself book. So when I went to Indiana State University after I graduated, I was the admissions counselor. That was my first like official full-time job.
Yeah.
And I used to interview prospective students.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a question I always asked them. I was like, "What type of lifestyle do you want?" 90% of the time, I didn't get an answer. They either said, "I don't know." They look at their parent or guardian to help them out with the answer, or they've never heard that before. So back in my mind, I'm like, okay, they really haven't spent time with themselves to really know who they truly are. So all these things that they taught, all these things that they are right now, they've been passed down or they've been taught. But they really haven't took time, they haven't been essentially raised or brought up to be able to seek out things for themselves, especially to seek out who they are.
That's why I let my daughter always choose things.
So it's like, and then you go back to a place of like, you got to stay in the child's place. Like, as adults talking to children, like psychologically and subconsciously, that's like, yo, I got to stay in the child's place. And then you see a lot of adults out here that's staying in the child's place as adults, as being grown. But they're still in the child's place because they were told that if they got out of that place, they will be essentially treated like a peon. To keep it a buck, you know what I'm saying? So, like, after breaking all these things down, and it's like, we have to do something different. And like you and I discussed before, like, I believe that all of our issues now are connected to us not knowing who we are. To be honest, if we knew who we are, we would save time, we would save money, we would save effort, we would save energy, and we would truly walk into our purpose using our superpowers and who we are.
Great, cuz. And knowing, since you got I like that title though, since you got the knowing the stranger within, cuz, what you say, man, what was the hardest, what you think was the hardest habit or character or anything of sort of that you had to change? What was the hardest, cuz? What was the hardest for you?
And this is still stuff I'm discovering too, is identifying limiting beliefs and building a habit to change those or to eliminate those from my day-to-day experiences.
What you mean?
So say for instance, I have a limiting belief. So I'll give you an example of a limiting belief I used to have, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't used to think that I could go into the education space and like make money.
Yeah.
And this one is shallow. I have a lot more deeper limiting beliefs with this. I'm just gonna keep it real simple and shallow with this one. But that was a limiting belief. Like I was limiting myself because I didn't want to be judged or known or persecuted because I'm making money in the education space. I'm using my gift.
Yeah,
So I was limiting my superpowers that the source, God, Allah, Buddha, whatever you subscribe to, that the creator gave me. I was limiting myself because I didn't want to be perceived by other people's thoughts, other people's words, because of how I wanted to show up for them. So I was like, okay, I need to take a step back, reel that in, let me go ahead and kill that limited belief, and let me tap into what the creator gave me, and use those gifts to make room for what I desire to do. So literally just using my gifts to get into these situations where I can essentially influence and inspire and impact young people. So I had to get out of my own way with that one.
Yeah. And why you know what, man? Before I say this, man, why you want to just do young people? Why you so much focus on the young people?
Yes, another great question. One of my favorite questions of all time is from Frederick Douglass.
Yeah.
Where he stated it's easier to raise a strong child than it is to repair a broken man.
Agreed. I agree.
And now also, like as I mature in this journey as well, I'm also knowing that, with that being said, in the school system, they say they be in the school for 8 hours a day, they got to go back home for 16. So by helping parents out get to a better place, that's extremely important. That's just as important.
I think that's just as important too. I think
that's
the
just
youth,
as important.
The youth only can go so far. Not saying nothing bad about the youth, but they're gonna go back to what they see. What they see in at home, what they see their parents do, what they see the person on the block do, whatever you are a product of their environment.
So yeah, I'm really like, my target audience for this book is really millennials.
Okay.
It's like we kind of like see all of the ones that are aware of like who they are.
Yeah.
Like we kind of see like all the BS is going on. Like, yo, we're not doing this.
We're not doing that no more.
Like we not about to not garden no more.
Yeah.
Like we not about to be over here doing all this goofy stuff no more.
What you think with the generations? Why you think that changed? What tool? What significant event? What in history or what happened? Why do you think that it changed? Why do you think it's so different? So much different it's world events, the environments we grew up in,
but what social media. That became a thing. Social media became a thing in our generation. So like with us, right?
Yeah.
With the millennials specifically, right?
I'm a millennial, huh?
Yeah, according to that, yeah. So that's what society got.
God, you asked me, boy. I was born when the earth was born.
But you gotta meet people where they are. You know what I'm saying? They might, people may not be ready to step into that yet.
Yeah.
And that's it. We here to help them, guide them to that. You know what I'm saying? That's what this podcast is for, so we can literally raise a lineage of people that view themselves as that.
Yeah, so
because that's who they are.
Yeah, let's get back on the topic though. Why you think that it changed though? Like so much of this events and stuff you said?
Yeah, like world events, just the times in general, us not being self-sufficient as well. Like all the benefits that we receive. So it's kind of like all these different variables that play into it to make this perfect concoction of us not realizing who we are. But unlike us, like we grew up in all these different times where like we've experienced VCRs and the big TVs that as big as a house, you know what I'm saying? Just as big as the house of the
orange tape.
Analog joints, the orange Nickelodeon tapes, like VCR, PlayStation 1, Sega, Nintendo 64, all that.
We saw all that.
Like AOL, dial-up, internet. Right.
Damn.
And now it's like we're still young in our bodies, right?
Yeah.
And it's like now we're in the age where like, okay, now we got the metaverse, we got Xbox and PlayStation, all these different gaming systems. We don't have the VCR no more. CDs are irrelevant now. We have CDs. We grew up on the back end of cassette tapes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I still got a car where I can put the cassette tape in there.
You know what still throws me off when I first bought a car, man? I'm like, damn, man, they really out here selling cars without no CD. I had a whole CD ready to put that in there. I'm ready to slap it in there in my new car. I'm like, wait. Oh, what is this?
Yeah.
Yeah, cousin, knowledge.
So we had cell phones, but it's evolved like crazy though. You know what I'm saying?
So what you think it's more easier to get to know what you want to know? It's more easier to get to know that knowledge. You think that's what changed?
Ooh, that's a great question. Yes, I would say that. Also too, like I was talking to Kobe about this.
Yeah.
Like once we realize who we are and like we have this unlimited potential to do whatever we want to do, we also have to have some discipline as well. Like we have to essentially balance discipline and desire at the same time. Because we can like do all these different things, but we don't build anything on earth too. We were born into how things are.
Yeah.
So we have to be aware of that and move accordingly. But also too, we want to get back to who we naturally are too.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of unprogramming we have to do.
And you know, speaking of who we naturally are, man, we were just speaking of this earlier today. You know, this is just throwing out there for everybody. Everybody who's looking for guidance. It actually is guidance. Our people love guidance. It's called the melanated, known as the hieroglyphics. My fault. Hieroglyphics. You'll know it better as the hieroglyphics. It's really called the melanated, but it's a whole written down in stone of how we need guidance. We always looking for guidance. We always want to know, hey, what was our people doing before? Our people left us this. Not only they left it on the metaneters, they left it on scrolls. The Dead Sea Scrolls, that's our stuff. That's really ours. It has nothing to do with dead, you know. So it actually is. We actually can recover these things. The problem is we don't try to. We always ask how we got here, but we don't search how we got here.
Right.
Hear what I said, y'all? I said we ask how, but we don't search. So if we was doing this, won't you go find it yourself? You know you can find the answers. One thing about the universe, no matter what religion you believe in, no matter what you are, you always seek the answers that you're seeking, you're looking for. You know, so that's what we got to do. It's a whole direction. It's a whole arrow. Go this way. But I guess that arrow at the same time is covered with bushes. Say if we're in the jungle, right? And you know we got to find this arrow. You know, most people's path, everybody else's path is very clear. They got set in stone. They got streets and all that. Our stuff would kind of be like the woods, not because we come from the jungle. I'm not saying that because we don't come from the jungle. We come from the first cities. Anyway, it'd be more like the jungle, and we'd have to start clearing our pathway and find it and digging up our stuff like we really got to do to find the path, to find the arrow to say, hey, go this way now. They were like, oh, damn, they got a whole arrow. We start pulling back these trees and, you know what I mean, start trimming down the leaves. We figure out that it's a whole road out here, and this road made of gold. This is a nice road.
Right.
You know, so it's a whole path, cuz, and that really touched my heart that you said that, man, because, man, we really can start studying this, cuz, man, and like I said earlier, you seek with the answers, because I just told the universe that, man, it's hard to find people who want to study who we was, cuz, and people be like, Africa, the Metanetter was everywhere, bro. We was the first people here in America. The people here in America was practicing the same signs. You can find it. They had it on their pyramids. Also the Omega heads. They was from Africa, point blank period. So, you know, our people was born here, because what we finding out, cuz, the more we getting closer, I'm gonna hop back on it, but I just want to say this: the more we find, the more we starting to dig up, it seemed like our people weren't even slaves on our that'd be your grandma on his mama's side, because we both on each other's mama's side. So that'd be your grandma, that'd be my great grandma on her side. The farther we going, cuz on her side, what we figured out, they're like, dang, they was close to reservations. It was looking like they was already here.
Yeah.
So we got to remember that. So we got to remember that our people already got us stuff set in stone that was followed by people who look like us worldwide. We got to stop dividing ourselves up. And we got to remember that our people back at once used to live as one people around the world. Mm-hmm. Yes, you may call it this. Yes, you may call it that. Yes, we probably got different names, but we won. You know what I mean? And we got tricked into lose that. So we do got direction, man. You know,
absolutely.
Yeah, we got, and that's why I feel like we need direction. Also helps you get to know yourself, know the stranger within. You would need direction to get to know somebody that you don't know. Knowing the stranger, because you know that helped me out with the process. It helped me out with learning who I am, because learning my people beliefs. You know, I'm trying to stay away from certain words. Learning from my people beliefs and our cultures. I learned that certain things I was doing myself, I had to stop in order to know myself more, in order to grow, in order to unlock who I was. Cause, bro, when I figured out the truth and figured out who I was, and I figured out I was a god, bro, I sit in the car for like a whole hour straight, like looking at the world around me, like.
You had different eyes.
Yeah. I was like, I see why they hide this. I see why they were, after I figured out who this stranger was, after I figured out that I'm a drop of that guy, we all come together. I'm looking at the world and seeing that it connects, and my what I'm going through in life, what I'm seeing is the reflection of what I'm going through inside. It's changed my whole life, cuz.
That's a beautiful testimony, cuz.
Changed my whole life. Mm-hmm. So you gotta get to know that stranger. And how did that help? I got to going back into my people's ways. Like I said, I got to start to follow. I haven't uncovered the whole forest yet. No, and I'm not by myself. I need y'all. I need you. I need more people than just my family. You too. I need more people than just people in our family. I need all melanated families. You know, we not just me. We all need each other. So, you know, we need to uncover that path, go on that path, and we will figure out that stranger within. We'll start unlocking sources of power that we didn't even know we had. Mm-hmm. I'm starting to think, for some odd reason, because I don't know, just I got it in me, and it's been so naturally. I'm like, there's no way, because my whole life I always was in kind of fashion, and I always was into being black. I didn't care. I loved it. Even though I was doing it in other engaging activities, I always had the urge for those two things. I never knew, you know. And so I feel like it had to be somebody, I'm feeling it, because it had to be somebody in my past life who already had like a clothing line or something, or was a fashionist or something, you know what I mean? A fashion artist or something. Because I'm like, I be coming up with dress ideas. I got all these different stuff coming up in my head, coming up, and it be so dope. It's like, finding that direction helped me out. Finding that I never in my life knew what I wanted to be, but after I figured out that stranger within, it gave me the whole direction. It gave me a whole, hey bro, take this path. Oh, okay, let me take this path. Then you start winning, cuz.
Yes, and like we mentioned this before too. Like once we start like learning like who our ancestors were here on Earth, we started to draw lines on like the things that we actually love doing now. Yeah. Like me, cooking. Like
we love cooking.
Yeah, like we can, like cousin and I both cook well. Whew. And like we have a grandfather, we have a common ancestor that was a chef.
Yeah, both our grandfather. You can't say just common. That mean common mean like uncle or cousin. Like bro,
both our grandfather.
Grandfather.
Pardon me for that. Yeah, we have a grandfather that was a chef. He did that professionally. Then we share that same ancestor. And on my father's side, my grandfather and his uncles, they all like drove like cars and stuff. Not cars, trucks. They did 18-wheelers and box trucks and stuff like that. So that's where I'm super comfortable behind the wheel of a vehicle.
Yeah.
Like I'm chilling.
Because if I had some babysitters, because it was gonna be my Uber driver for my birthday. Shit. I was gonna pay my cousin out of my pocket. Shit. You know, I know somebody who would drive me around. I know he'll be sober. I know everything will be sweet.
And would have been happy because my cousin enjoying himself.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
yes.
Absolutely.
So yeah, cuz it's definitely there, man. Behind it, it's that genetics, bro.
And then also like with music too, like I'm discovering like this like love for music that I have.
Yeah.
And my pops, he used to play drums.
Yeah.
I personally never won. I used to like.
My grandma told me about that, bro.
Yeah, like
you
my pops
didn't tell me about
it. Cold with it.
My grandma told me that.
And like I had a little drum. I got some pictures at home. I was a little drum set. I was cold too.
Yeah, but you ain't have it.
I have it like my dad though.
But you ain't have it in you.
But I'm very musically inclined too. I'm just like in a different way. You know what I'm saying?
Don't forget, man, cuz be trying to serenade me always singing. But because man, you know, we have singers in our family, everything, man. Cuz I be realizing that a lot. And you know how you said my love for being so melanated and all that, it comes from that. You know, if you study Ethiopian and you study their tribe, they back in the day, they didn't play. Being melanated was that was their ticket, bro. That was their step up of approval. That was like, bro, being born. The Ethiopian tribe, everywhere after that. I mean, Kemet, they love being black too, but it was different. Like, it was different. It was like pure, like, they didn't, I'm gonna keep it 100. This is true history. They didn't accept they didn't want no race, they didn't want nothing. They said, you gotta be pure Ethiopian to be a king in this mud. You gotta be pure black to be an owner of any business in this mud. I'm gonna keep it 100. You know what I mean? You don't leave your limbs, we don't hold in. If I was gonna
kind of like the same concept as Black Wall Street.
Yeah,
in America.
Yeah, because they was on that. They still are, bro. I don't know if they are, but in history they was, you know, because that's around the time. And another thing a lot of people don't know is this is dead serious. In 2040 BC, I want y'all to look this up. I cannot pronounce his name as good, but it's Ahemton, whatever, Amen, however you pronounce his name. The second, in order to gain power, he did what the Chinese people did about 80 years ago. He banished everything from real. He said, no more interracial with these, no more doing nothing with these people. Not saying, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, if you look at history tell you, and you gotta pay attention to history, you gotta pay attention to our people. Our people was our people was giving us our direction. He was giving us the direction. He was letting us know that we losing, bro, because he saw it. And what happened? We start gaining power again in the 18th dynasty and all of that. You know what I mean? The 18th dynasty, I'm gonna help people out. To help, you know, people be like, well, what is he talking about? The 18th dynasty basically means 18,000 BC. You know what I mean? So that's, you know, 1,800 BC for people who don't understand me. You know, and that's around the time that was our 18th dynasty of Kemet. We had 49 dynasties, guys. 49. So what that means, the 49 dynasty was the first. My fault. They probably confused about that too. So when I say 49, I mean first. I don't mean one is last. Okay? 49 is first. Okay? So that'd be 49, around 40, basically around 5,000 BC. It's proof that it was cities in ancient Africa and Kemet. Then let me hit you with this. Haramaket, which is the Great Sphinx, that right there is 15, over 15. They estimated to be 15,000. And that's what I'm saying. We have direction. On all these things, they have scrolls and ways how they ran their governments and ways how they ate, everything. We have all of this documented. Then we can go to the British Museum. They got our stuff, so we just gotta start following that path, cuz.
Yeah, like every time I like hear you speak about like our story, I'm not calling it history. Like our story.
I like that.
Like I love like I love hearing you speak about like our narrative on like who we were. Like,
Yeah.
it's always enlightening.
Appreciate it.
Always enlightening, man. It's
Appreciate it.
like I learned like we both like learn something new every time we speak.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
From you,
saying?
to be honest, cuz was one of the biggest steps. One of the, he wasn't the only one.
Because
but he
I
was
ain't
one of the
do nothing,
biggest.
man.
No, I see. No, you wasn't the only thing that pushed it, but you was one of the. You pushed it. You know what I mean? You know how if you all pushing a car, and you need people help. You was one of the people who helped me push the cars, cuz.
Gratitude.
You know what I mean? Cuz was man, cuz to this day, I don't care if y'all heard this before. My cuz bought me a vegan burger, man. Out of his pocket, out of his love, man. And cuz brought it, man, he said, man, I just want you to eat it. And I already have stopped eating beef by the time. So, man, to this day, that mug still slap every time I go get one. I said, man, cuz, so you definitely want to start hanging around with people that you want to grow with, man. That's my story of that, man. Make sure you making sure you pushing your family into new ways.
Absolutely.
Always bring your family, the ones who you see on the journey. We gonna throw that into family. We always on this journey. You know what I mean? Knowing the stranger within and all that, and all of this that I'm talking about, unlocking all of that, grabbing and finding direction. What is it? Hold on, though. What is it though? It's family.
Yeah.
So we gotta start not only finding who we are, we gotta bring along our family members who willing to, cause that's who we find in our family to guide us to a better destination. Cause our ancestors is our family. We need to grab our family too, so this generation can keep growing. Each family, like not just your family. We gotta get more into like outside of just your grandma, you know what I mean, and your mom,
I gotta
auntie.
share this story,
Like, what's up?
Man, so recently I went to a museum, Civil Rights Museum in Cincinnati.
When you go to the museum, cuz?
This was last month
there you go.
with a mentoring group. And I was just peeping game. We were getting a tour of everything, just learning about a very, 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 very small portion of our melanated existence here on Earth, right? And on one of the walls it had like the presidents and like how many times they were in office and stuff. There's information about them, right? And I was just peeping games like my mom like, man, these young kings we got here, they've probably learned like the wives of these presidents and little tidbits information of like that, but they don't even know who their great grandmother is.
Damn.
Or their great grandfather. I was just like, yo, that made me sad. Personally, I don't like being sad, but like seeing that made me sad. And it's like it's stuff that they have to be exposed to. I kind of like have a like and dislike relationship with it, because it's like it's a time that's like real dark in our melanated story.
Yeah.
But it's like if we don't study this stuff, we're going to literally revert back to that sooner than later.
Yeah.
So we have to know how not to be hoodwinked into that situation.
Yeah.
You know
Man,
what I'm saying?
cuz, for real. Because, like you said, that story, but you know what's so crazy though? I think that's kind of...
That kind of leads back to the family too.
Yeah.
Like bringing everybody, I believe everybody should have the access to knowing who their ancestors are. You know what I'm saying? But we don't really have those conversations. We don't intentionally have those conversations in our homes. You know?
And hear me out though, cause you know what that just reminded me of? I was working at, you remember I had 100 jobs. I was working at, I forgot it, a moving company, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was moving this Caucasian lady and this white lady. And you know what I realized, cuz I was moving all these pictures, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, dang, she got like 50 pictures, cuz. I'm not lying, and every time I'm like, damn, these pictures look old. Like they all fractured, and then I'm getting to seeing pictures like these. I'm like, these people lived in like 16, 17. Then I'm looking at they little lifespan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing 1,500. I'm seeing all of this, and then I'm asking, I'm asking, like, I don't know if it was 1,500, but I'm seeing paintings and all type of stuff. I'm asking her, I'm like, what's all this? I said, why you got all these old paintings? She said, oh, those are my old paintings. Those are my ancestors. She said, that's my family. She said, that's my great. I said, hey, y'all keep all these? She said, yeah. She said, you don't have pictures like this? You know what I said? I started laughing. I said, like, you know what? That gets on my nerves. You know what I mean? You know damn well I ain't got no goddamn pictures of them because yo fucking the same people who you got picture of made sure that I didn't have pictures of my people. I'm keeping it 100 cuz the same pictures she got people of, them same people that you love is the same people who made sure I didn't get the enjoyment of my ancestors. You feel me?
I do.
You gotta let them know that shit. They be acting like they be forgetting that shit, bro. Cause they don't gotta live it. That's what it is, cuz. So I was like, wow, and you should have seen like that pictures, like she had pictures of them doing all type of stuff. Like I was just so amazed. I'm like, damn, you got all these pictures of your people. You know what they look like. You know what I mean? You got pictures of them doing different type of stuff. One person was looking like he was a military chief. That's inspiring, cuz. Imagine going into a room, you can see your very first ancestor, cuz. That'd be inspiring. You can see their face, their little job, little description of them.
Let's put that together, though. You know how like, that's going to be a passion project of mine, cuz you know how, shout out to Dr. Anthony T. Browder, too. You know how he has that timeline?
Oh, yeah.
Let's do that for our family.
Ooh.
That's all I got. We rap online how I got some ideas.
Dang, that was dope.
I got some ideas.
That was dope.
And it's more than just doing genealogy research. I don't want to personally get into all that, but I want to I will talk offline.
Yeah.
But I got an idea around that. Like what I just said is just like barely the surface of like what's going on in my head right now around that. What you just said.
Yeah, cause that's dope.
When I be spitting out stuff, I'll be like, ooh, like I'll be like this all the time. I'll be like, somebody say something, I just get curious instantly, like, oh, okay, how can we do that? Cause I'm like, I've been trained into like, I've trained myself to have a business mindset, you know what I'm saying? And now I'm like having that balance now of like leaning more to the spiritual side as well. So having that equilibrium, that duality of life to have both of those. Because I do realize that business is everything and everything is business. But I also realize I'm a spiritual being living a human experience. You know what I'm saying? So, and I need this body to be able to carry out what I need to do spiritually.
My favorite thing is always saying this, man. And I ain't gonna say it again, because if you follow us, you know this metaphor. The spirit, it doesn't need shelter. The soul, the spirit and soul is two different things. So I'm just gonna sum it up for people who don't understand. But the spirit, it doesn't need shelter, it doesn't need water, it doesn't need food. It doesn't need anything to survive. It doesn't need your heart, nothing. So it's always hard to remember that balance, because your body needs all that to just, I need this water that I'm about to drink, you know?
Absolutely. And it's like having that, being able to just like, those little subtle details about our existence and being able to properly communicate that to our lineage, because it's so important. Talk to me.
And you know how you said our existence, you know, this not off topic, but this is kind of, you know, they just found, I forgot the name of that telescope or that, whatever they shipped out into space and all of that. But make a long story short, they like, you know, we looking at every star we look at, if it's 13 million light years away, that means that image we watching is 13 million years old. So basically what I'm trying to say is like, time, and while we hear that, while you say that, time and like spending your spiritual essence, you really realize that time really doesn't exist. Like, time, like this has been messing me up, because whatever kind of thing they ever got is, what it does is, if it travels to the first light, like the Big Bang, when it first happened, that light of that is still out here. So if you can follow that, so stay with me. So if you can follow that, I screwed it out.
Yeah, you in the camera. What we doing?
Man, so because I was,
we need this on camera.
Hey, I was
imagining. We got pop. We need this.
So it was like, it's what it does is it finds the first light, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what it does after that, it finds light and it starts traveling. So it's kind of like traveling in time. So right now, it's looking at the first. It's looking at the first time how it all happened, like how a star first came about, because that light is still there. Do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Even though right now that light is different, the light it used to be is still present. You still can find that light, and if you find the tip of that light, you can find each time according. All happening at once. So it'd be like this. If you had it on a paper, right? See, right now we can't see it because it's 1-dimensional, 2-dimensional, and 3-dimensional. Like 1-dimensional is like paper. 2-dimensional is like when you see something that's looking 3D on a piece of paper or whatever you see on the computer. Mm-hmm. And 3D is what we see with our eyes. But it's 4th-dimensional. It goes all the way to like the 11th dimensional, right?
That's higher than that.
Yeah. So. Imagine what that's seeing. That right there, a being who lives, since we in the 3rd, if a being lives in the 4th, it will see everything happening at once. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because like how we would see a paper and we'll draw, we'll see everything at once. You know what I mean? So, excuse me for this. So that's how the time is. It's like, that right there is it just all ties up and it makes sense because we always say we got our ancestors' memory. You know why we got our ancestors' memory? Because we're living right now with our ancestors. Cause
absolutely.
It's like
so. Look out to add to that, right?
The
higher you are, the more you see.
Yeah.
If you look to go off of like what you said, 1D, 2D, 3D, 4D, right?
Yeah.
So the higher you are, the more you see. That's why it's very important for us to sit at the feet of our elders, because they're at a higher age on earth than we are. So they can give us that wisdom from up top, being up top of the let's just call it the kingdom.
Yeah.
The top of the kingdom, they can give us that wisdom and pass that down to us. And we're like, look, you about to go through this, this, and this. I'm more tapped into who my people are. Let me holler at you and to let them know who they were with me. Like when I was in your shoes.
Yeah.
When I was 29, like you, I'm 89 now. Let me holler at you back when you was 29. So I'm 89 now. You know what I'm saying? So the higher you are, the more you see. So that's why we have to sit. That's why we have to sit at the feet of our elders to learn these lessons. But we got disconnected along the way because we underestimated or misinterpreted the importance of that. And we put 4, like elders is ELDERS, and you got 4 L's. You got 4 L's, that's 4 90-degree angles. 90 degrees times 4 equals 360. So if you got those 4 elders, show 2 grandparents on both sides of the family, and you get a holistic picture of your family, your bloodline, your lineage. Wow. You get the whole picture because they're up here now.
That's why.
So they passing that down. They're passing that light down to you. So the same concept you just broke down about the telescope and the Big Bang and the light, it's the same concept with us here on Earth and these physical bodies. Same projection. Same exact projection. We like everything is connected.
I believe in the Big Bang, man. I'm not saying I do or
don't.
Well,
that's.
I'm saying I do or don't. I just want to use this metaphor.
Well, everything's metaphorical. So. Yeah, it's like it's the same principle, man. We just gotta like start to really tap into this stuff, man. It's very, very important.
It is, cause that's why it really touched me. I found somebody that want to study the dang. That's like cuz. That's like cuz. That's like you know how you get instructions, right? Like say if you get instructions to build a hard ass desk, one of them desks that come in piece and piece. That's like trying to put pieces together by yourself without reading any constructions. You got the whole constructions right there. That's how the melanated is. We be trying to do all of this, trying to build up a desk. We trying to build up one of them. That's them ones that come in like 100 pieces. I know I gotta have one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like trying to put one of those up. You know what I mean? Eventually we'll get it up, but shoot, we might use the wrong screw on this thing, unscrew it. It's gonna take us way longer than versus if we just go ahead and use the constructions. You know what I mean? So it's plain and simple. That's the best metaphor, cuz you know.
Absolutely.
A tour on the game, a tour on the basketball game.
Also, too, man, like when we look at life as it is right now, right?
Yeah.
This is the realistic part of life, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna bring it back down from 5D back to our 3D reality, right? We don't have those, not in a negative way. I just have my brain processes information.
Yeah.
I see both sides of it. I see the duality in everything.
Yeah. We don't know what's up.
So like with our elders, right? We don't like they're transitioning at a higher rate because of like the decisions that they made prior to them getting up in age. Like my pops, he was 63 when he transitioned. My grandmother was in her 80s. Had an uncle, he was in his 60s. Had other people like they all had health issues.
Yeah.
Because that's like going back to earlier, we're supposed to sit at the feet of these people.
Yeah.
But they don't take care of the body.
Yeah. Like one grandpa,
Like
man,
super spiritual people, but they don't take care of their bodies. And that's like the message I want to get across to my people, my family as well. Like we have to take care of our bodies.
Yeah, I feel
Like we got like this is where the spirit is.
Yeah.
Like I like whatever you believe in, whatever beliefs, whatever morals and whatever values you have, all of those are housed inside of this body at this current time. You can travel outside of the body, but you gotta take care of this too.
Yeah.
This is the first temple that you have on earth. You gotta take care of that.
Cause trying to convert everybody to a vegan.
I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I used to be like that though.
You still is like that.
I used to be like that. It used to be my message. Like
Cause
everybody's on that
if
vote
you're
and
not
die.
a vegan, be a vegan today.
Everybody's on vote and die. I was on vegan and die.
Hey,
When I first got started.
Cuz said, if
Like-
you needed Jesus today, come to the ceremony, come to the.
But like, yeah, dog, but for real though, cause like, man, this I'm seeing
Come
us,
to the front. We can
us
pray for you
harm
today.
ourselves every day. And
I'll
it's
put my
sad.
hand on you and I'll pray for you.
Can't take this guy nowhere, man. But no, but but seriously though, it's really sad, man. Like seeing people make the choices that they make. And I'm like, and I gotta get them space to do their thing.
Hey, and I feel you,
You know what I'm
cuz
saying?
that's what you're supposed to do. You know me, I'm just joking with you. You're supposed to speak from your heart. That's what you here to do that. That's why you speaking from your heart to do that. You here to pass that message. That's why you feel like that. You supposed to feel like that. You know what I mean? But you know, I necessarily feel like this, to be honest. When we start off like this, because I don't feel like everybody can be vegan, cuz they're just not right now. You know, just not right now.
Yeah, no,
You know what I mean?
it's
Probably
not.
later in the future, but as for right now, I feel like we should do it like this, man. I feel like people should just grow their own food. And raise your own food.
Raise it,
Grow it, because
If you need to go hunt, go learn how to hunt.
man,
raise your own food.
because man, even being vegan, to be honest, man, everything is, even when you vegan, everything is GMO, cuz. Everything. It's hurting my feelings the more I figure out about this. Bananas, oranges, all this is food colored. Everything, and that's why do you think all that stuff look like that? Think about it. Go to the dang store, look at all them fruits and look at all different colors, how they be perfectly orange, perfectly this, perfectly that, perfectly green, perfectly purple. Then when you go to the wild and you really find it out, it don't be perfectly orange, it'd be perfectly green, or you know what I mean? Not even perfectly green, it'd be like this shade is greener than this shade is a little darker. It look like it's been outside and actually some parts of the sun hit the other one.
I was in the garden yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And I was seeing like the actual what cucumbers really look like for real. Like not the ones in the stores. They don't really look like that for real.
Everything, cuz.
And I'm like, oh, this is
everything, cuz.
interesting. So it was like I'm like seeing like the actual situation. And even that ain't the original.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, this is wild. Like we are really deep. We're really like devolving.
Yeah.
Like it's like
it's deep.
wow.
That's what I said. So
it's really it's a lot.
I feel like I feel like people who eat meat and people who eat vegan should come together and start holding these farmers and the government responsible for our food. I feel like it shouldn't be this big war versus who we should be vegan or should we should say forget that. We on each other's side. Let's hold these people who giving this food accountable. It's them. It's not the dude who eat meat. Who even if he is, doped up with that stuff and it's chemically got him hooked, he really probably don't know. So we need to go to these farmers and hold them accountable, bro. We need to give them. They the ones who out here secretly putting drugs in food. People just trying to eat to survive. You gotta eat. You gotta eat. We need to start holding these farmers and the government and the FDA and all of them responsible. Everybody, we all need to get on each other. Everybody, don't matter. Even if you think that food is healthy, okay, I agree with you. But let's make it more healthier. Let's holler at them. Make sure that they're not putting all this extra stuff in this food, and we'll be Gucci. You know what I mean? We will be better, man. We all this unharmful. And then what I don't get is they know the stuff is unharmful. Why are they doing it? Then I think about it. You gotta think about it. You know why?
Everything is business.
Money. Money is money, so concentrate when you're counting.
I don't know what that is.
That's that Boosie Boo!
Boosie.
Yeah,
okay.
Cuz I don't know Boosie Boo.
Yeah, I don't really listen to Boosie.
Yeah.
But that's what's up, though. But yeah, man, as we wrap, man, what if you had to wrap up this podcast episode and put a bow on it and gift this to somebody?
Yeah.
On a little card that come with on top of the gift, what would you write in it to sum it up?
Don't forget, when you learn and taking yourself on this journey, to bring family members who want to go on the journey and who have the same. Give people opportunity to your family. Make sure you're leading with your family, man. Bloodline. Yes, you can have other people outside.
That's a solid trial.
Yeah, and I don't mean, when I say bloodline, not meaning like I got the same blood. Family could be family, even if you adopt a family. Family is family. So don't be saying I ain't got no family. Your friends or somebody, your people that you're around, take them with you, man. For real. Build a community. Remember, community is when you have your own initials. You control the food, you control the education, you control the businesses, and et cetera, et cetera. And remember, man, remember, when you build in this community, build it with strong individuals. Everybody's not going to be able to come. Everybody's not going to be able to come. That's something I had to learn. I always thought keeping that door open is great, but you don't want them bad apples coming in. We want to make sure it's people who going to lead and who lead correctly. And we also need services, not leaders. We need servicemen, not leaders. You get what I'm talking about if you read the book, Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. I be reading some of these new books now because I gotta go over my old books. Because I almost forgot that. The other was Bible.
Can't forget that legendary book. But yeah, family, man, as we wrap, man, we thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of the Lead Your Lineage podcast. And like we always say, lead yourself so you can lead your lineage.
Yes, sir.
Until next time.
Stay melanated.